Welcome to the Nations vs. Nonprofits Weekly Briefing. This is your weekly briefing number 13, Why Self-Authorization Fails. People often point to documents, reports, or test results as proof of who they are and what authority they hold. Genealogy reports, DNA tests, and similar tools are frequently treated as if they can authorize leadership, representation, or political voice. But evidence of ancestry is not the same thing as authorization. When individualized artifacts are used to bypass collective decision-making, the result is not clarity. It is confusion, displacement, and harm. This episode is not about genealogy reports or DNA tests themselves. It is about self-authorization through individualized artifacts. These artifacts can document information about a person, but they cannot grant authority over others. Political authority is never individual. It is collective. Genealogy reports document family relationships. DNA tests estimate genetic similarity to reference populations. Both are forms of evidence. Neither establishes citizenship, leadership, or governance. No government derives authority from private documents or commercial tests, and tribal governments are no exception. Self-authorization occurs when an individual takes a personal artifact and treats it as permission to speak for a people, claim leadership, or assert rights that belong to a collective body. This move skips every required step of governance. There are no citizens consenting, no enrollment process, no elections, and no accountability. The artifact becomes a shortcut around authority. This shortcut is often accepted by institutions that do not understand how governance works. Funders, universities, cities, and media outlets may see documentation and mistake it for legitimacy. In doing so, they evaluate individuals while bypassing real tribal governments that have continuity, records, and lawful authority. The harm is not theoretical. Self-authorization redirects land, money, and public voice away from sovereign nations. It forces tribes to repeatedly defend their existence while individuals act without responsibility to a citizen body. What looks like inclusion or recognition from the outside often functions as erasure in practice. Real tribal authority comes from enrolled citizens acting collectively over time. It is documented through roles, elections, leadership certifications, and records that show continuity across generations. Individual evidence can support that system, but it can never replace it. Once you understand the difference between evidence and authorization, the pattern becomes clear. Documents and tests can describe individuals, but they cannot authorize power. When self-authorization replaces governance, real nations are the ones that pay the cost. Thanks for watching this week's briefing. Nations vs. Nonprofits weekly briefings drop every Monday. Tune in for next week's subject, How Shellmound Narratives Get Misrepresented.